You are not supposed to build the career you want. You're supposed to understand the kind of life you want. And whatever you do, business, career, charity, whatever, I don't care. But, well, I care, but you get what I mean. Whatever you do has to then give you that life that you want. Business is math. We all go into business to make money, but it has to be a bit more than that. If the only reason why you go into business is to make money, you will struggle a bit. I really don't care how great you are. There are going to be high days and there are going to be low days.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Minerals Podcast. I'm your host, Oba Okusanya. Welcome. I'm really excited today because I'm talking to someone that I met I guess it's a couple of months ago, at a mutual friend's event. And, we probably talked for about 2-3 hours, but in those 2-3 hours, I was just telling her before we actually hit record that in those 2-3 hours, I was like, I need to bring this lady on the podcast. and as we get talking, I'm sure that you will, you guys, the audience, will agree that yes, this is an amazing woman. She's a business coach and consultant, with over, I guess, 2 decades of experience, helping businesses optimize and helping business leaders and business owners, improve their processes and, streamline operations and, run their businesses more effectively. But, please help me welcome to the Minerals Podcast, Ola Adeyemi. Ola, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. Like I said, I want to start off our conversation this way. I was sort of a couple of weeks back, when I sent the invitation, we were sort of talking on LinkedIn. I something caught my attention on your LinkedIn profile. The headline, essentially, you were like, it says, "I help business owners with teams less than 50 achieve 61% profit growth without making massive changes." I saw that and I was like, that's very specific. And I was like, I need to know the backstory behind how you got to that.
Right. So thank you for pointing that out because sometimes you put things up and you don't even know who is looking or who is noticing. So yeah, that's what we do. I am a part of a big franchise, which is Action Coach. And that is our promise to businesses because we have a system that works, right? And one of the main things we push in how we work with businesses is the 6 steps to massive results. So if businesses implement those 6 steps, if they focus on those 6 steps, if they get those 6 steps banging right, they will definitely get 61% increase in their bottom line. So, like I said, without implementing massive changes, yes, there would be some changes in the way
Yeah.
you run your business, in the way you as a leader or you as a business owner, in the way you operate, in your thinking, in your mindset. But trust me, they're not like ridiculously massive changes. They're changes that they're already there and you're going to go, oh my God, it's been right here in front of me. So that's kind of the way we work with business owners. And then, working with them, with the business owners who are committed to implementing those changes, they will get that result.
I like that. And I like, well, of course, we're going to talk a lot more about business and coaching and stuff, but I wanted to kind of, before we get into all of that, I wanted to talk about like Ola, the businesswoman, before coaching came along, because
Okay.
you were not always a coach,
Now,
right? And I want to explore that journey and then the spark that led to being a coach. So what was Ola, the businesswoman, like? What type of businesses were you involved in?
okay, so my background, I'll probably start from there. My background is law. So I studied law in school and I have my master's degree in international commercial law. I totally enjoyed what I was doing. I was good at it, right? And then I wanted more. So I went into the line of business, but at the time I was doing it as just, something like a side hustle, as people would call it.
Yeah.
It was just something I enjoyed doing. I used to decorate garments, as I say it. So like putting prints or embroidery on t-shirts or, just making them a bit more beautiful than when you just buy them. So that was what I did. And then it led into something much bigger than myself. So I call myself, if I could say the word, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I know there's nothing that
Mm,
happens by accident, but that's just the
yeah.
truth. So in case someone is out there saying, "Oh, I knew that calling from beginning," no, I didn't. Right? I just knew. I enjoyed. I'm a people person. I just love making people happy in the best way I could. Right? So I went into that business at the time. I was still doing my full 9 to 5 job. And then the business got busier and busier. My weekends were totally maxed out. And it was, oh my
Wow.
God, so it was more like I transitioned into going full time into the business. So I did that, and I did that for about altogether about 12, 13 years.
Wow.
So the business grew obviously from my dining table with just me and my husband, and it grew to a business where we had our own premises and we had a team of 6 at the peak at the time. And then we had some external um, members of the team as well.
Mm,
So we started working for big organizations. We were working for schools, doing the school uniform for schools. I think we had about
wow.
6 big schools that we were working for. So it was, like I said, it didn't start that big. It was over time. I totally loved what I was doing. I was great at it. Oh my gosh, I got the buzz from doing that, right? And then
Yeah.
I think a few years into that business, I then bought another business. That other business was a clothing brand. It was very, because I was living in Aberdeen, Scotland, in the UK at the time. So that other business was a clothing line, but it was very Scottish. I bought that business and I grew the business, and eventually I sold the business as well because it was just so busy running 2 businesses at the time. So I sold that business off, and then I then obviously moved to Canada, and then I closed down the other business because I wanted to do something else. And what I wanted to do was bring all that wealth of knowledge, all the pains, all the joys, all the things I've learned in building and growing and scaling a business. I wanted to bring it into a space where I can support entrepreneurs, help them to build, probably
Mm,
help them not make the mistakes I've made as well. And
yeah.
also, sometimes there is so much value in having that third eye look from outside inwards. Right. So I wanted to be that. I wanted a bit of more impact on what I was doing, and that's how I came into business coaching. So that's sort of the story in a nutshell.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. I like the fact that even though, like, yes, business, the goal is to make money, but you're also looking at it from the perspective of service. Like, I'm serving people, and you even said something, you like, I enjoy making people happy in whatever way I can. So it's like even through the business, you've always kept the customer sort of like in mind as well. I think that's really refreshing because nowadays a lot of people are talking about business from the standpoint of it's about the money, and we know it's about the money, but at some point, like, could you talk about the balance between, okay, business, I'm here to make a profit, but I'm also here to serve people? Can you talk about how to probably properly balance that out?
Yeah, so that's the truth. Business is math, right? So we all go into business to make money, which is obvious. So yeah, that's great, but it has to be a bit more than that. If the only reason why you go into business is to make money, you will struggle a bit. And I say that with every caution, right? I'm not saying everyone that goes into business is going to struggle. No, but I'm saying the struggle being that there are going to be high days, there are going to be low days in business. I really don't care how great you are. There are going to be high days and there are going to be low days. It's going to happen. And what gives you that staying power is the passion in which you have or had in the first place that got you into that business. That's what's going to help
Yeah.
you stay the course, you right? Take, for example, COVID. Nobody ever thought that COVID could happen. I mean, even the medical field, they were like, what is
Mm,
this? Right? A lot of things that helped a lot of businesses stay. I mean, there's so many other factors, but just looking at that other part of it, right? what helped them to stay the course is the passion and the belief they have in their business or their products or their service. I know that this product is great for the market. I know that this service is great for the market or the market needs it. And I know that I can provide it in such a way that would be appreciated, right? So that passion, that love that you have for what you're doing is going to keep you longer than anybody else,
Mm.
right? I mean, even during COVID, I'm sure I heard even medical doctors were pulling out. They were done because it was just a
Yeah.
lot, right? Now, this is a profession where at least 85% of people in there, 90 even, they're so proud of the work they do. They love it. But
Yeah.
COVID shook some people to their core,
Mm.
right? So you can imagine where you're not really keen about what you're doing. You just want to be there to make money. What if the money shuts down? What happens, right?
Mm.
You have to
Wow.
have a bit more. So it's a blend of both. And also some people love what they do so much that they don't even place value on it. They're, yeah, I can give it to you free. Now that's the extreme as well. We don't want that. So we just want the right balance in there. I love it enough to believe in it, to stay the course when things are tough, when things are hard. And at the same time, I want it to be able to give me this business, to give me the life that I want. Right. So it's good to be in the middle there and have a good balance. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way you put it because um uh, I also see the other side of it where people are much more like, oh, I just enjoy doing this. Like it doesn't feel like work to me. Um, so how do you help people like that put much more value on what it is that they do? Because some of them, like I think I can speak for that set of people because sometimes it's easy to feel like if I put a dollar amount on it, it loses the sort of connection that I have to it. So how do you help people from that side of things see the balance in the sense that no, 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 you need to place some value on that?
Okay. So a lot of times, even with business owners, a lot of people have asked me, what coaching? What does that even mean? Right. And it's what you've asked now is a real key part of what we do. We help business owners to understand why they're in business in the first place, right? So I can go about, okay, why are you doing this podcast or why are you doing this business you're doing? You tell me, oh, because of this, because of that. Great. What impact you want to make? We go through all those whys, right? We need to understand that. When the why is clear, the how becomes a bit more possible, right?
Mm,
Because you have good clarity on why you're even doing what you're doing. Now, placing monetary value or, it all depends on the business owner. We ask you, what
yeah.
exactly do you want to get from this? Well, I want to be able to make money. I want it to give me the life I want to do. Then we tell them, paint me the life that you want, right? A lot of them
Okay.
go, I want to be able to work 3-day weeks, or I want to be able to work 10 months in a year. I want to travel and put my feet, they paint that dream, which is great. Like, okay, now this is that dream here. Hold it. It's beautiful. They're basking in that. Then we will tell them you need to be able to build a business that can give you that life. That is the point of having a business or even a career, whatever it is. It's not
Yeah.
the other way around. You are not supposed to build the career you want. You're supposed to understand the kind of life you want. And
Mm,
whatever you do, business, career, charity, whatever, I don't care. But, well, I care, but you get what I mean. Whatever you
yeah.
do has to then give you that life that you want. The moment it's not giving you the life you want, you need to go back to the drawing board, realign, let there be an alignment with
Mm,
your vision and what you're doing, right? That's why you see some people, they are in careers or even businesses they don't enjoy, they don't like, right? It becomes a bit tougher, right? Now, yes, maybe the job or the business would bring you the funds or, the money you need and all that, but is it giving you the life you want?
mm,
Because
mm,
life is the most important thing. I always tell people I believe in making truckloads of money and doing all those things, but the life you want is very important to how long you even exist in
mm.
this life, right? Nobody
Yeah.
knows when it's our time to go. So I mean, the least I can do for myself is enjoy the life that I'm living. right? So that's
Mm,
kind of what we do, which I've just said in what a few minutes in, with our clients. I help them to understand that life they want, picture it. No matter how big, it doesn't really scare me, right?
mm,
Then we position your business, the people you work with, the connections you have, and all these things would help you to build that life that you want. Because that's the goal, right?
exactly.
Mhm.
So for someone who struggles with placing value on what they do, I guess by sort of picturing this life that they want, then they're like, okay, you know what, this is the means to the end. So this is something I have to do.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't place value on it, or oh, I don't want to charge and all that, that's okay if you don't want to charge, but you're risking that vision. It's a
Mm,
So it's up to you. If you're okay to risk, okay, maybe I don't want to travel anymore. Maybe I'll just stay put. Then that's okay if that's what you want,
mm,
because I cannot want it more than you, right? But it's my
exactly.
duty or my job to kind of help you see. So if I start placing value on it, that's why you see some people, it's easy for them to say no because it just doesn't align the kind
Mm,
of life I want to live.
yeah.
It's so simple, right? You see some people, and don't get me wrong, it's not just about making lots of money. You see some people going for career job wise or businesses that probably pay them even a little less, but it gives them the life they want. That's okay. That's
Mm,
me. That person is living a fulfilled life, right?
yeah.
So that's the way you see it, right? I'm hoping that, the kind of life you live, you want to make loads of money because I believe in it so much, right? Uh, we need resources in life to do
Yeah.
so many things, right? So it's okay to want that, to crave that, right? So that's how we help clients, and even, just you can apply it to everyday life. It doesn't have to be a client
Hmm.
I'm working with. It's just, life. Understand the kind of life you want to live, the vision you're seeing, the people you're connecting with. This is what that looks like now. What you're doing, do you think it will give you that life? Or do you think it's another step closer? It's another step closer. It's another step closer. If it is, keep going. I got you, right? But if it's,
Yeah.
then you need to kind of, let's go back to that drawing board, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
As you're talking, Ola, I remembered a post I had seen on LinkedIn about an executive who had actually um he it was the recruiter that posted, actually. The recruiter posted about how she had approached the executive with an offer, and I think it was an offer for maybe 70K less than he was currently making. And the executive accepted it because it meant that he went from 80-hour weeks to 40-hour weeks. And he's like, at this point in my life, I just want to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So absolutely spot on in the sense that people will take less money
Yeah.
if required.
Absolutely.
If it helps them sort of get to that life that they need to get to,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it, If it's about that, focusing on that goal. I want this kind of life, and whatever helps me get there, I'm going for it.
I think there also has to be a certain level of contentment that a person has to be able to say, you know what, I'm willing to let go of X amount of dollars just to get to this dream that I have, this vision that I have. Because one thing that I'm also seeing, I think it also depends on where you are in life, because I'm seeing people who are much younger and they're all about hustle culture and like, yeah, work hard, like no days off, weekends I'm working. I get it. But if you know you have a family, you have all these other things, it's a little bit much harder to, like you have other things that you want to do in life, right? So can you speak to that contentment that it takes to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is not worth all the money in the world.
Okay. So content, being content, I agree, right?
Yeah.
But I would move a little bit away from content. I don't think it's just being, oh, I'm content enough or I'm disciplined enough. I think it's this inexplicable urge to really live the life that you want, right?
Mm,
Now, when I know that the life I want, Oba, is to build a business, exit the business, and then travel the world with my husband. An example of an idea or vision, right? I want to build
yeah.
a business, exit it after a while, and then travel the world with my husband. Now, say something comes up and says, "Oh, we want to offer you this amount of money, but you're going to sign up with us for 20 years and you're going to be working 50 hours a week and all that." That's no more content for me. I,
Mm.
I cannot jeopardize that dream. I've got
Yeah.
10 years to exit this thing. It's not about the money anymore. Or am I content
Mm.
with 5,000 instead of 10,000? It's not about that. It's about the dream now. It's about the vision,
Okay.
clarity. Do you get what I mean? So for me,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I've always been clear about what I want from get go. I'm not that person. There are some people from maybe age 15 or 10, they know what they want to do. There's been a lot of refining in this person you
Mm.
see here. There's been a lot of unraveling, a lot of being. I'm still being, in fact, you know?
Mhm.
So I've gotten to a point now, which is why I can speak about it in such a passionate way, because I have seen the other side of not being that clear a bit. I know, and I have an idea. I'm not too sure, to a place where I know the kind of life I want to live. I know what
Mm.
myself and my family, what we want to do, right? We decided to move to another country mainly because of the work-life balance, right? Our family
Yeah.
is to a point where the kids are now in that age where we need to be a bit more involved in helping them and guiding them. You know, we were the hustle life as well. My husband is the doctor, is, 9 to 9. In fact, sometimes shift. I'm building this business, back in the UK, and oh my God, he's coming, I'm going, hustle, hustle, hustle. That was it. Yeah, we were cool, we were doing well, but we couldn't sustain that kind of life forever. No, we'd have to sit down and say, guy, you know, what's gonna happen? Okay, this is it. Okay, let's do this. There's a bit more flexibility in this country or in this place. Okay, blah blah blah. There are a lot of prayers, a lot of thinking, of deliberating and strategizing and blah blah blah. So that's an example, right? So what I'm trying to say is I'm not saying yes, it's also being content, but it's more
Mhm.
more than contentment. I think it's being clear on
Okay.
the fact that this is the vision and also wanting to protect that vision, and you're pursuing that that place, not a final place, but you're pursuing that place. It's just like saying um when we were in uni, right? For example, I studied laws, you studied engineering, and someone says, oh, come and try this law course, it's so fun. I'm sure you'd be like,
Yeah.
no thank, I want to be an engineer, period, right? Why was
Yeah.
it for you to say that? Because you know that you want to be an engineer, period. So there's no, let's even assume they say this course, if you switch to law, in fact, they will give you $10,000. I'm sure you'll still probably say no thanks. Because you don't want to be a lawyer. So I think it's, we can liken, I try to use examples that, people can also relate to. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that, because I'm clear that, oh my God, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be in court. I remember that dream of wearing the wig and gown. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So anything that was saying, oh, let me try this, there's no trying. This is what I wanted to be, right? Maybe at the time,
Yeah.
if there was AI, I could put AI into the legal field and because yeah, it will still complement, but don't get me wrong. I'll still try some things, but something that will totally move me away. Who knew that
Yeah.
we're going to eventually move away, right? Right?
Yeah.
But because you're so clear on this is what I want to be when I grow up, this is the courses I need to take to get me there. So I'm gonna stick with it. Right. So I think it's a bit of that. So yeah, you can call it a bit of contentment, but I would say clarity of
Yeah.
clarity of what where you're going. So that sort of
Yeah.
helps. Yeah.
So it's clarity, it's alignment. Like, yeah, I get it now. Now, the other part of this coin as well is people whose dreams change.
Mhm.
And I know you can speak to this because you talked about how you were building a business, running the business, and then you're like, I want something different. Right. Like, how was that process? What was that process like? Because it's a different thing if somebody's doing something that's not working
Huh?
and then they move to something else because they want to go try something else, hoping that it works. You left something that was working and said, I want more. How
Yeah.
was that?
Are you sure you've got time for this? um, it was painful, you know, but yet it was the move that needed to be made. And I say this because, you know, well, maybe what I should start with is it's okay if dreams or goals or whatever you destinations, if it changes, that's absolutely fine. At the time, I didn't think this. I just thought, oh my God, my life is over, right? Um, I think in hindsight, looking back now, I probably was holding on for, I think I held on for way too long, even, right?
Wow.
Yes, because I just, I'll build this thing from ground up. You know that I was just basking in that. It's mine. I did like I have a team, and in my community there, when you're almost like a local champion, people knew me. I'm like,
Yeah.
no way, this is the way, and whatever, we keep roughing it, and so it sounds, it's laughable now, but I think when you start getting that urge for change is that thing that excites as well as it terrifies all at the same time, right? It's like it's an emotion that is a huge emotion that you need to be able to manage well. And one of the things that would help you, which helped me, is you cannot manage change alone. I think that's where
Okay.
people burn, or that's where people break, or oh my God, my life is over, blah, blah, blah. You need to be able to manage change with people you trust. Not everyone has the grace to nurture your vulnerability, right? So you need to find those people that are graced to nurture that change that you're going through, that change of dream, change of vision, change of goal. For me, I'm also blessed because my partner, my husband, has that grace to be able to nurture that. Okay, we're not doing that again. What are we doing now? Right. Um,
Yeah.
so one of the things to put things in perspective, the work I did was print, embroidery. So we dealt with heavy machinery. I mean, my workshop was machines, right? Now I could
Yeah.
operate anything and all. That's why sometimes I feel like I have some biceps. I'm right. So it got to a point where it was physically demanding for me. I was constantly exhausted. So, when you have this feeling like you just cannot continue doing this now, either of two
Yeah.
things, either you build the business to a point where you hand it over to an operator and then you just take like the visionary role. That would have been the great spot for me, but the business wasn't there, which is a lesson learned as well. And this is what I bring into my coaching. So I'm very straight with the people I coach. I can see the path. Like, this path you're going, trust me, I've been there. So I can tell you, right? So, but my business wasn't there. I wasn't able to hand over what I have built to an operator or to even have an MBO, which is a management buyout with my team because they weren't there as well. And so the options were to, okay, now you want to move. Are you going to start it all over again, or what is going to happen? Now, I have friends who know me here in Canada, and a lot of them are still shocked. Like, you are not doing the business, like the print, textile. You are the queen of it. I'm like, I know that. And everyone keeps reminding you of how good you are. I know that,
Mm.
but it's just changed. I don't want that because I know that if I keep doing that, well, that's for me. Doesn't mean anyone in printing or embroidery. It's a great business. There's money to be made. It's fine. But for me now, it's that's personal experience. I just knew it wasn't something I saw myself doing, say, in the next 10 years. And I needed what I wanted to do in 10 years. I needed to be clear on that, right? So how did I navigate that? I did not navigate that change alone. That I will tell you. I have a business coach myself. I also have a life coach. I always say this to people. And the life coach aspect of it, mindset coaching, it has really helped. I cannot even talk about it enough. It has really helped. I didn't think I needed it. I just thought, what are they going to tell me, right? But I said, okay, this because I was carrying a lot of emotions, at the time, and I was able to navigate that with that help, obviously with the help of my partner and, my friends and people that love me and are so supportive of even the business I do now. It's incredible, right? So that's one thing I'll probably say. Don't navigate change alone, especially if the change is massive. One. Number two, it's okay if dreams or goals change. It's absolutely fine. What we just need to do is let's get to the drawing board. This is where we want to go. This is where we're at. The in between now, let's fill it out, right?
Yeah.
Let's draw a plan. Let's do a map. Let's do a process map, whatever that might look like. During that process map, there will be changes as we go. As you
Mm.
know, say you're running a project, right? There will be changes,
Yeah.
but we'll deal with it as we go. But at least I'm not just going to sit down and say, I don't want this business. This is where I want to go, but I'm stuck. I don't want to, I'm not doing
Mhm.
anything. It just, and that's where you find a lot of business owners. They don't even know where to begin. So they're like, you know what? This is working. Let's just stay here. I beg.
Yeah.
It's all right, but that's another thing in life. You need to be able to take risks. Risks is not only financial risks.
Yeah.
That's the big one that a lot of people talk about, that, oh, you need to count the cost and all that. I know that there's emotional risk, there's family risk, there's physical risk as well.
Mm.
What it does to your mental health, your body, your whatever. So you need to look into all those things and be able to navigate. And if I could just drop this here, I'm a believer as well. So I pray, right?
Yeah.
And I'm someone that has that support, I would say, spiritually as well. I've got my spiritual coach as well. So they help me to navigate all these changes and stuff. So those are some of the things I sort of leaned into or leaned on to help
Yeah.
me to navigate the change. The truth is I'm still going through the change, right?
Mm.
But rather than make it overwhelm me, I'm just loving the different sides of me I'm seeing. I'm loving the new me I'm being, as I've said
Yeah.
earlier. So it's just like, wow, girl, so you could do that. Wow. So you can do that. So it's also an experience for me. So yeah, change is huge, but it's okay if dreams change. And I think they should actually change once in a while. It helps you to kind of reset and see what's possible, right? Especially if you've exhausted the possibility of a particular thing. You're the peak. What next? There's nothing anybody
Hmm.
can
What
tell you.
next?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before you become a nuisance, even where before someone says something, you're like, I know. There's nothing you're not even teachable anymore because you
Mm.
go pivot, do
Wow.
something different, right? It helps you to keep living the brain, make it busy. So
Yeah.
that's sort of what I would say to that.
Whew. Oh, that's packed. That's packed with so much value. I was also thinking about the fact that you. I mean, it's also in addition to all the change, of course, running a physical business to now being a coach, which means most of your coaching, I would assume, is mostly virtual now. So I mean, there's pluses and there's pros and cons because now you could be home more, you could be more present for your family, but I'm sure there's days where you still miss like the buzz of the machines and all that stuff, right?
Don't get me started, Um, you know, I was telling my husband, like, I just hope I'm not a t-shirt. Well, because most of the things we do, t-shirts, polos, we do other
Yeah.
things, but t-shirts are the main ones. I'm like, I just hope I'm not a t-shirt snob because you see people passing and I'm looking they will probably think, why is she staring? It's so annoying when I do that. And I'm looking at, oh, okay, what kind of, is that a print or what kind of print? Is it screen print? I'm trying to analyze what kind of textile or interface do they use on the garment? Okay, that's embroidery. What kind of stitch is it? Oh, that looks clunky. You could have, and I'm looking, maybe the needle is thin or blah, blah. And before sometimes my husband even taps me like, you're staring. I'm like, oh God, I'm so this is rather embarrassing. So if you see me outside, please hang on. I'm not staring at you. I'm just so intrigued with designs, especially on garments. I get very fascinated with it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, sometimes I miss the buzz, I miss the discovering because that field is another field that kept changing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, the machines, are you using a modular machine? What kind of machine are you using? It just keeps changing. And then there's direct to garment, there's direct,
Yeah. DTG.
there's,
Yeah.
so you're like, which one is that? Because I used to attend the massive conference in the UK then for textile prints and all. Every conference, there's something new. Literally, there was a time they did 3D. You can make your prints come alive with an
Yeah.
app. So I did that. I used to print that as well. It was a bit technical, but it just really fascinated me and all that. So sometimes, yes, I do miss that buzz. I'm like, I wonder what's trending now. I don't even want to start because I'm like, I don't want to get sucked in. So, so I miss the buzz. But one of the things business coaching gives me that I didn't have in print is when you talk to a business owner, maybe you're working with them on a strategy and the strategy works and they come back to you and some of those people are in tears. Oba, I feel it's so emotional for me. And I'm like, I actually did nothing, but obviously they feel, oh, you're being humble. I'm like, I'm genuine. I just said, okay, try this. Even,
Mm,
and I feel so deeply humbled by the gift and the wisdom that someone trusted me with because I'm like, how
yeah,
do I even come up with this stuff sometimes? And that's just the truth, and they're like, oh my God, and people are crying. And sometimes it's not even financial result they see. They just see, oh my God, Ola, the way I think is changing. Or, one
changing,
of the
yeah,
things you do when you work with us is you are going to read. So you are going to learn. The person that
yeah,
signs that agreement with me is always different than the person that finishes or decides to finish maybe after 6 months or after 12 months, which is our length of time. In 6 months to
yeah,
12 months, you are a different person. So even if you don't get any other thing, you are becoming. Right?
mm,
So that being, that becoming changes. You will read, you will learn. Your mind is gonna open, like literally blow up. All right. Because I went through this as well. And that feeling or that look on their faces, I cannot, sometimes I feel like, do I even deserve to be the one nurturing this,
mhm,
amazing dream. It's incredible. So I mean, the print, the other business I did, it's not that it didn't give me joy, it did, because when people pick up their garments, they're happy. Oh, thank you for
yeah,
bringing our idea to life. But there was nothing sort of original that I can claim to, because you've brought your design to me and all I've done is just try to put it on something or the substrate.
exactly,
Um,
yeah,
so that's, yes, I miss it, but obviously there's also parts that what I do now give me that didn't give me. And for me, I think
yeah,
I'm happy here.
yeah. No, it's great to hear a lot. And as you're talking, I'm also thinking about how there's that idea that nothing is lost, no knowledge is lost, no experience is lost. So now you're able to bring this wealth of experience from this world into this other world, and of course it's a bonus, because like it's such a significant bonus that I'm sure your clients and people who are working with you in coaching must be happy that you have that you know.
Hmm.
But just to switch gears here a little bit, um, actually, before I switch gears, before we pivot into something entirely, you mentioned that you have people who are enrolled in your coaching, read books and stuff, sort of hinting at the idea that for you to experience a different result, there needs to be some internal transformation that happens.
Yep.
So can we talk about that internal transformation? And I want to talk about it because that is the hard work.
Yep.
Like, not a lot of people want to do that work, and it's very easy to see results on social media and to see that this person's business sold this out, and that they just hit this revenue milestone, but you don't see the behind the scenes of the internal transformation that had to happen for that person to even be able to hold those kind of results. So can we talk about the best way to go about that?
Okay, so two books I would leave with you. The first one is What Got You Here Won't Get You There. I don't know if you've heard of it or if, your viewers have heard of it, but that's a book I recommend because that explains what you're saying. What got you here won't get you there. What got you your first million is not going to sustain you into your 10 million. Two different people operate $1 million
Wow.
business and a $10 million business. They're two different
Wow.
people. Don't deceive yourself saying, it's just me. Is it not me?
Mm,
Me that it's not the same you. It's you
mm,
physically. It's still Oba. It's still Ola, right?
yeah.
But it's not the same you. It's just like saying me, the single me is different from the married me, is different from the mommy me, right?
That's facts. Yeah.
Three different people. absolutely different, right?
Yeah.
And another book is the one I have here, The E-Myth Revisited.
Oh yeah.
Always recommend. You are in business and you've not read this book, maybe pause your business and go and read. This is the number one that you need to understand. And why am I talking about this? Why am I recommending this? Everyone that comes on any program with me, they start with this book, right? The reason we say this is, I will tell you a quote by Brad Sugars. Brad Sugars is the owner of the franchise I'm a part of, which is Action Coach, and he's an
Okay.
is a genius in my opinion. Is brilliant, right? Brad Sugars always says you need to learn before you earn, right? So if you look
Mm,
at the word earn, all you need to do is take off the L in front of it. So that comes
exactly.
first
Yeah.
before the earning. Exactly. So
Mm,
say you want to do, what's the first thing we do? Say we want to maybe start with AI now. We Google it. Yeah. We just like you probably have researched me before we can talk easy. You're talking about the things I do because you have learned. Like,
yeah.
it makes this conversation a bit easier, isn't it? Rather than
Yeah.
you
That's right.
coming to say, what is it again? You do all that. What is gonna what exactly, right? So that's if you understand that as basic as it is, then you understand in business, in career, anything you learn to earn. When people become first time moms, what do? They buy books. Oh, what's the first month of a baby? What's the milestone? Well, I did it. We're literally what's the size of the baby now? And we want to know. That's it. And that's sometimes the people that do that a lot, they become good moms. I'm not saying they're better than anybody, but they kind of, because they have information, right?
Yeah.
Um, People say, what's that word? Information is king or something like that.
Mm,
Or
yeah.
knowledge. Knowledge is power.
No, it's
For
yeah.
me, is applied knowledge. That
Ooh.
knowledge needs to
Okay.
be we can a lot of people suffer from information overload with the use of AI. There's so much information out there. Is what you do with it, right? So we need to learn when we understand, okay, this is what I need to do to hit my first million. I'm going to break it down. Now that works. And you see some people, they're probably trying to implement the same strategy. And we've done this before. We've hit our first million before. And they're like, why is
Yeah.
it not working? It's not working because you're trying to get to 10 million. It's different.
Mm,
We need to
yeah.
look at something different, or maybe we need to hire maybe like a badass business development person to market this stuff or blah blah blah. You see, the decisions are changing, and the more better decision you can take because you have some level of information with it. One of the things we work with clients on is, marketing strategy, or how you go to market, or how you get visible, put your information out so people know you and know what you do. A lot of people do these things, and I'm sure you do. Is we are on LinkedIn. We connect on LinkedIn, don't we? We're posting every day. That's great. The question I ask people is, yes, you're posting every day, but how do you know it's working? Then everybody goes silent.
Wow.
You know it's working or it's not working because you test and you measure. Now, it's not just about posting or dumping stuff. I go back and look at the analytics. I know some of the posts that really did well or really worked or made people engage. I'm like, maybe. So this is what like your big data, your um Power BI, all
Yeah.
this is what they do. They get all this data so that they can inform you on decisions, right? Or you being a tech bro, or like CEO, or these are the things you guys do. You look at the back end, the psychology, how do people buy, what are buying habits, they're all this learning, and then we bring it to the boardroom or the meeting. Okay, why is this product doing better than that product? Because of this, because of that, and we get all those, and then we make what? A decision from that.
Decision. Yeah.
Exactly. Now imagine you're running a business. We've been posting every day. You're
Mm,
not learning nothing. And it
that's
comes
true.
back to the AI now. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm very good with AI. I'm still learning. It's a lot of changes, but I have to get on the trend. I have to learn it as well. Okay, how
Yeah.
could this thing even impact? Oh, I see. Aha. Okay. You know, so even if I go for a networking event and maybe an AI conversation comes up or something comes up, I'm not going to be mute. I'm going to have something to say, however little. And
That's right.
it could be that little thing I say that opens my major door for me. So that's why
Mm.
I need to learn. So I say it's so important to, and people just feel learning is only about school, or you have an exam, or you have like a big thing to do. No, just learn about your everyday life, about everything what are the weather in Canada, what makes it so dry. You need to know the kind of moisturizer you use because it's very dry. And I noticed the flu, if I could just say that, the flu in Canada is not a baby. The UK flu is a big toddler compared.
It's a toddler.
Oh my goodness. The flu happened to me and I was wiped out. Do you get, like in UK, I'll have flu, I'll still do school runs, I'll still do, I'll just pop in some
Yeah,
Tylenol, I'm good. Here, I popped Tylenol, Advil, everything. I was knocked off my feet. I'm like, hey, what is this? Right? Now I know the weather is dry. You need to deliberately hydrate more here than probably I did in the UK. So it's they look like simple, easy things, but you need to be deliberate in learning. And that's what you
yeah,
bring into business. You need to learn to earn. So if you've learned and you've understood, then you have the right to even earn. Right?
exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it.
Well, I also think that there's a certain level of curiosity it takes, and that people have to maintain through life to be lifelong learners.
Uh-huh.
And a couple of weeks back, I wrote a because I have a we have a weekly newsletter that we release on Saturdays. A couple of weeks back, I wrote an issue about how children are so curious and like they're like born curious. Like, what is that? Like, my toddler will ask me why probably 1,000 times before he goes to bed tonight.
Yeah.
But it is just what it is. They'll be like, why is this? What is that? Who is that? It's like so much curiosity. And society, unfortunately, starts to sort of temper that down as you go through life, where it's like, why are you asking so many questions? Like, probably shouldn't ask a question. And before you know it, you have a bunch of adults who are not curious.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like you can't be a learner if you're not curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So how have you sort of maintained your curiosity? Because it's curiosity that would make you go look into the weather to be like, why is the flu here different?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So for me, I'm like I say, I'm a I keep learning and evolving every day. I was that person at a point where I wasn't even curious again. I thought in my field, I kind of know everything I'm doing. What am I learning? I'm good. All right. I'm earning a decent pay, real good. But what I discover is either of two things. Either life pushes you to become a learner, or you have to make that decision. The what I would say is, please don't make life push you to get to a point where you have to learn. One of the huge things that hits me as well at a point in my life, in my business and all that, was, in my opinion, I just felt, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at it. I'm recruiting. I'm building my business. I'm working hard, right? I'm not a lazy person. And with all these changes in the print field, I still felt, I was learning, but I wasn't actually. And what happens to you is you don't know, but you stall as a person. Your brain, you actually stall, right? So for me, how I discovered that was, I think I was at an event, which was very different from where I would normally be. They were much younger. Now I'm young, don't get me wrong, but folk right in there, and Oba, these guys were talk. It was like they were talking Greek. Oh. Like I remember it was like an accelerator thing that we did with back
yeah.
in the UK. And I'm like, I've been in business. I was one of the people that was in business the longest in the
Mm,
cohort. And these guys were talking high level stuff. And I'm like, what? What? I was asking for what's that? Where do you, and it was like fear. When fear hits you, and I'm like, what? What are you doing? I'm like, so I had to almost like humble myself to learn from these people, because I
yeah.
realized you have been stalling, or you have you know, when you're just in a plateau, just you're not going
Exactly.
up or down or anything, you're just there.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. And it took that event to happen. And I'm happy it did. At the point where the change was happening again, like I said, I've gone through quite a lot of changes. It wasn't funny because I was afraid that are this the quality of business owners and people out there? They're going to sweep you away if you're not careful.
Mm.
So I had
Yeah.
to learn. Okay, this is what they're doing. They're talking of investor rounds, seed funding, all these things. I'm like, what me? I saved my money, started my business for myself. I didn't get any grants, I didn't know about all this
Yeah.
seed funding, crowdfunding, all this thing was my husband and me. How much are we putting in? And so it was the hardcore way of building the business I started with. So
Yeah.
I had to learn this new way. And it's incredible how much that is helping me because some of the businesses you're coaching now are talking on that
Mhm.
level.
Exactly.
So in fact, I feel that time the learning was not even for my business at the time
Hmm.
was for now because now they're talking, okay, we want to do a grant and there's some seed funding. We've done, okay, how many rounds have you done? And it's not like Greek to me or strange because I understand what they're saying. Now, I might not be fully like, yes, I'm great at it, but I can have a good conversation about it, right? So
Yeah.
for me, it was sort of like life pushed me into girl, wake up. You are stalling, right? And
Yeah.
it's a very uncomfortable place to be because then they're looking at you like, oh, you've been in business for 10 years. I'm in business in 2 years and you don't know what I'm talking about.
Talking about
Exactly. I'm like, oh my God, help me. And this was what, like some 6, 7 years ago, even 8,
Yeah.
even. All right. So either of those two things, either you decide I want to be, I want to don't have an idea of what's going on, or
Exactly.
life forces you to, and unfortunately, a lot of people, life forces them to make them understand that you need to, yeah, wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like, please don't get to a place where life forces you because it's not pretty.
It's not fun. It's embarrassing. That's the word.
Yeah. Now, Ola, I saw somewhere as well that you described yourself as a GPS for businesses, and I love that because, uh, the idea behind the many roads is that there are so many roads to fulfillment for everyone, and the roads we all take won't always look the same. Actually, dare I say, no one's path is the same,
Absolutely.
right? But the end goal, what we're all looking for, is that fulfillment. So you being a GPS on the many roads, I was like, okay, you know what? How do you balance as a coach? How do you balance being? Because someone could come meet you, and you could just tell them what to do.
Mhm.
But I also get a sense that you also, in addition to providing direction and strategy, you also like to empower people. Right. So how do you balance that to make sure that, okay, I'm not just telling you what to do, but I'm also making sure that you leave this experience so transformed that for the next couple of years, you now know what to do by yourself as well.
Yeah. So that's, I think, in somewhere on social, somewhere I put up a video about consultant versus coaching. So, and that's the divide between are you a consultant or are you a coach, right? So I always tell people I'm sort of a bit of both, but I think I'm probably leaning more into the coaching side of things now. Now I consult on process improvement, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what your process looks like. What's the bottleneck? What's maybe not making this flow easy, or maybe what's making you spend so much. Let's implement some lean strategies and blah, blah, blah. So as a
Yeah.
consultant, I can tell you what to do because in a way, there is a way to do process improvement, right?
That's right.
So I
Yeah.
could do that. Now I blend that into the coaching I do, which also helps me to be a bit more value. It doesn't help. It is, I give more
Yeah.
value to the clients I work with. So, um, then on the coaching side, you cannot tell people what to do. You help them to discover what they want to do.
Wow.
It's a mind thing. It's a bit of a tricky thing. Because one of the things we say as coaches is there's a difference in me giving you fish and there's a difference in me teaching you how to fish. right? So what we do as coaches is teaching how to fish in the literal sense, right?
Yeah.
So say someone comes to me with, okay, this is what we're experiencing. Okay, great. It's the line of questioning as a coach, or to be a very good coach, you have to be great at questions, right? And there is a name for it actually that I think the not CIA now, the intelligence is the people in the US, they use that. The line of question is to get information. They're not going to come out and ask you about what do you do. It's going to be a
Mhm.
line of question that you will offer that information to them. So that's
Yeah.
what we need to get good at as a coach, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
so what I do with clients is I help them to make better decisions, right? I train them, train their team, work with them, build strategies with them to help them make better decisions. Now, there are times where I will step in and tell them what to do, whether to say something like, no, we are not taking that job offer or that
Exactly.
because it doesn't align. Sometimes
Mm.
some of us need that rope that pulls. Come back here.
A little bit of tough love.
So there's a bit of that where you tell or where you advise or suggest.
Yeah.
But I think 90% of what we do is to help the client to make that decision themselves. And what the client pays us for is what comes out of their mouth, not what comes out of my mouth. It's what comes out of their mouth. Because the moment they're now starting to say these things and think in this way and having this mindset and understanding the fact that my business should give me the life that I want, not the other way around, I've done my job. Now that's what you pay for, right? And
Yeah.
it's a bit of a journey to get there, but that's the whole thing. You find some clients who just tell me what to do all out, right? And I'm like, oh, I cannot tell you what to do. And, coming back to what you said about being a GPS, and that's one of the reasons why because I was trying to explain the coaches, if I could just say this now, I've gotten such a bad name because sometimes the coaching community is not even as regulated, right? And we
That's right.
understand that, right? And it's everyone comes up, I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach. You don't even know, okay, is it a feeling that makes you a coach or is it a trick? You don't know, right? But I wanted to make people go, that's what she does. To make them
Yeah.
understand that I'm not just sitting down giving you advice or putting videos out and telling you this is the best way to do things. Not necessarily. What do you do with the GPS? You kind of know if you want to go downtown Toronto, right?
Exactly.
It's just
Yeah.
there are like 6, 7 ways to get to downtown Toronto. Should I go
That's
through
right.
Yorkville? Should I go through North York? Should I just
Yeah.
traffic? The GPS tells you, do you want to avoid tolls? Do you want to avoid ferries? Do you want to take the
Yeah.
407? Do you want to, it gives you all the different options. Now you decide. I
Mm.
can place all those options in front of you. You decide, you know what? I'm happy to take the 407, for people who don't know the 407, that's like the toll road. I'm happy to take the
Totally. Yeah.
toll road and pay the extra 30 quid or whatever that might look like.
Mhm.
That's okay, Oba. If you want to do that, let's go for it. There's some people like, no, I don't want the 30. I know it's going to take me another like 30 extra minutes, but I'll save that money. That's okay as well. The point is both of them are going to get to downtown
Mm.
Toronto. Now, maybe one is going to get there a little bit faster, but honestly, it's still fine. It's not a
Yeah.
deal breaker. Say the one that pays has a deadline. The event starts at 6. The other one, they're just going to chill and stroll. So there's no rush. Both are good decisions, right? So that's what I do. You put in the information into the GPS. The information needs to come from you. Then I present to you the different offers based on the criteria you've chosen, avoid tolls or avoid ferries or take highway or blah, blah, blah. Then I present the options and then what do you click? Oh, this is 58 minutes. That is 40 minutes. That is, you know what? Then you tap. And then when you tap, I'm there with you, guiding you on that road. Bare left, second turning at the traffic light, turn right, take the
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Now you might think, oh my god, this GPS is so good. The GPS is as good as the information you put into it.
Whoo! Wow. Please say that again.
The GPS is only as good as the information you put into it. So that's it. If you
Wow.
feel, oh, I don't want to talk to Ola about my financials, I don't want to talk to her about my team, that's okay. But I can only advise you or help you based on what I know about your business. So the more open you are, the better. It's just like medical doctors as well. The more you tell them, it's paining me here when I sleep, they can give you a good prognosis. They can tell you, okay, this is it. We'll send you for this test and all that. And you can get your diagnosis or your prescriptions a bit quicker. But someone that says, did you
Yeah.
smoke today or did you drink? No. Then they're going to go and, oh, well, you're just delaying the whole thing, So
Yeah.
I think that's anytime I say that, it helps people to understand, ah, this is exactly what she does. And that's what I do. So, um,
Yeah. Allah, you should trademark this GPS analogy. It's
you
brilliant.
know,
It's amazing.
what-
Now we're starting to wrap up here. I wanted to talk about briefly, just I wanted you if you could just explain this struggle that I believe a lot of coaches who coach business owners see, where business owners struggle with working on the business versus working in the business. And could you talk about that and the best way to go about it? Because both are needed, but how do you like balance? And I know in different seasons you might need one more than the other, but like how do you know which one?
okay. So, there are, if I'm going to even bust it further, there are three things. You can work on your business, you can work in your business, and you can work over your business, right? Now, when you
Wow.
get to the point of working over, that's like the visionary level. You are a big dog, right? So when you're getting to like your franchising and all of those stuff. But working in your business, this is when you are the person running the whole thing, right? You are
Yeah.
an operator, you are operating the machines like I was doing, and you are, going for the networking, you're doing everything, right? Now,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Most entrepreneurs have to start with that anyway. You couldn't do that for a couple of years and then
Hmm.
you're building structure. Now, working on the business becomes a bit different because this is when it's more like a machine is already there. Now you're running the machine, right?
Okay.
You're pressing click. Okay, you need to oil the machine. You need to service the machine. You need to, so it's more like when you are doing things a bit more strategic, right?
Okay.
Where you're like,
Okay.
okay, we want to make that 1 million now. How? Okay, we go on a podcast with Oba. Okay, we travel to. Okay, you're doing all that mental work. Now that's what
Yeah.
the business now. A lot of times, business owners are supposed to do both. In and on, in and on, in and on. Then you now start phasing yourself out from the in. In is the operational, right? And
Exactly.
then obviously over is a bit different. It's, where you are then, I would say there's an exit, right?
Yeah.
You have put in place an operator, right? You are just there. Okay. How are you guys doing? Oh, you need this. Okay. Do we need to franchise the business now? Or do we need to, you're talking, or do we need to sell the business,
Yeah.
exit, or, that kind of stuff. This is where you are now building legacy, I would say. So business owners need to work both in and on.
And on. Hmm.
Yes, there's a blend of those two, and it's so key uh to do that. The struggle that we see is, yes, business owners, they want to work on the business, but there's just so much happening in the business.
Yeah.
And sometimes even the first 5 years, you'll probably still be working in to an
And
exact.
yeah.
Um, when you hire a business coach, when you're working with a business coach, and even if it's not a business coach, when you have someone, it could be
Yeah.
a strategic partner, whatever, or someone you're now working on about, okay, the next level, the next stage for your business, that aspect of it is you're working on. You are now stepping back a little bit. Okay, what's the vision for our 2026? What are we looking at? What collaborations are we going to do? What charities are we supporting? That is working on your business. And one of the things we recommend is 4 hours a week.
Wow.
It's not that hard. 4 hours a week. And you need to block that time out. So it could be 1 hour a day. What do I want to do today? Okay. What can I do in the next I don't know, quarter to help
Yeah.
move instead from a $10,000 month to a $15,000 month. What can I do?
Mhm.
You're doing research, AI, chat GPT, you're speaking with some people, attending conferences, people are giving you ideas. That is working on the business, where you are. You need to create time for that to be able to, and one of the things that helps business owners to move away from the in a little bit more
Yeah.
when they start to hire.
Okay. Now, I have to interject here because uh, I s- I have personally seen people squander opportunities to scale their business to take it to the next level because they're afraid to put it in the hands of somebody else. They're afraid to hire.
Mm.
And especially when they're perfectionists, like where I don't blame them because they've gotten used to doing this by themselves for so long
Hmm?
that now you're saying put it in the hands of somebody else.
Hmm.
How do you help that person like chill? It's okay. You can give this to somebody else to do and you now begin to do something else. How do you help them see that?
So how do I? So the way I say it, okay, you know what? Don't let us complicate things, right? One of the things I tell business owners, I'm giving all my tips, Oba. But one of the things I tell business owners is the first thing you do is do an organogram for your business. Don't think about your business like it's just you, right? Think about your business like it's an organization, it's an enterprise. You've got the CEO, you've got the PA, you've got the head of operations, the COO, CFO, whatever name you want to call it, up until the janitor or whatever. Write
Yeah.
everything. Now, number one, what that helps you to do is I am doing all 32 roles or all 15 roles. So, first of all, you give yourself credit. Ah, Ola, well done. Give yourself a pat on the back because imagine you even put salary, basic salary for all these roles.
Yeah.
What you're doing is worth this.
That.
It helps you to see the amount, the capacity you have as a single person. That's step one. Step two. Now, in all these roles, social media manager, speaker, and author, this, that, you know, which one don't you like first?
Okay.
What are your top 10? When it comes to like invoicing and book keeping, I can't do. When it comes to social media, ew, or whatever, let that start from the bottom up. I don't like this
Okay.
admin thing, diary. I just don't like it. Or I just don't like the newsletter, the writing of, I don't like writing or whatever. Identify those things. Now, those are the roles you hire for first.
Okay.
Becomes easier to let go when you let go of things you don't even enjoy in the first place.
Ooh.
Do you get-
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
someone tells me like, marketing is an aspect that I really enjoy in my business and someone says, you know what, I want to be your marketing officer. I'm like,
Like no, no.
I'm like, duh. I'm like, okay. Then even the question I'll be asking the person will be like, you know what, go on. I don't want to because I'm asking, do you test and measure? How manage objection handling, maybe sales, or how do you manage objection handling when you get no 10 times? What do you do after that? How do you promote workshops? How do you do this? Do you do videos, content? Hey, how do you launch a new product? How do you, even the questions I'm asking, the person will be like, girl, okay, bye, do you get?
Yeah.
Now, I would hire, when it comes to like admin, I don't like it. About it looks like I'm so well put together, but I've got an amazing team behind me that does all. Oh my gosh. Sometimes they would tell me, oh, like, you have about 20 unread emails. What's up? Please. Well, do you get? But,
Yeah.
and sometimes, obviously, there's some aspects of my emails that they cannot have access to because I deal with
Mhm.
personal information.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I don't have a choice. I have to just do that bit. But I've found ways to enjoy those things. Those places for now I cannot delegate, right? When it comes to accounting, I don't enjoy it. I just really don't. I like doing the numbers, i.e.
Yeah.
the high level stuff. Okay. Was the top line? Was the deductibles? Was the bottom line? Okay. How do we make a decision? Let's go. That's it.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. But okay, what are now the assets and the
Yeah.
you are stressing me out, right? So it's easy for me when I started my business. Having an accountant wasn't a negotiable. I have to because I will run into trouble.
Yeah.
Do you get? So even if someone says, I want to take that off from you, you are doing me a favor rather than, do you get? So that's how I work with clients. Identify at least your top 10.
Yeah.
Those are the parts that you hire for first. Now you might get to a point where maybe there are some roles that you really need to hire for, maybe based on the kind of business you do, you know, those ones you really need. For example, maybe you're a GP practice or, medical practice, dental, you need that front of house person that will organize your practice for you, maybe like a practice manager, because doctors, they
Yeah.
just focus on the medicine part of it. They need someone that would,
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
do they have everything prescription pads or the inventory is going low, they need that person that will help them organize, right? Now you do that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the tip and the help, I would say, has really worked for business owners that I work with, So hire for the roles you don't like, especially when you're starting as a solopreneur and then you work your way up.
Ola, thank you so much. I am going to do this very thing you just said. I'm going to do it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Because as you were saying it, it's like a light bulb went off in my head, like, yeah, you should probably do this.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I'm happy you said the light bulb. One of the things we say to clients, whenever we are in sessions, you would experience BFOs. We call it BFOs, which is blinding flash of the obvious, right? If you don't experience BFO, not like I'm worried, but I'm like, were you listening? Because a lot
Mhm.
of things we're saying is not like this new, oh my God, we've never seen it before. No, there
Yeah,
are things right in front of you, but you just needed someone to go, oh my God, it's right there.
it's
You
right
know,
there. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm so happy. Feel free to share with me if you want to do that.
yeah, for sure.
List all those things, top 10 things that, oh, I really don't like doing. Then you hire for those things first, and then the rest would take you. So it helps you to also let go easier. So say you've hired for the admin, the social media, maybe you have a VA now or something, and then you have maybe like an accounting person, and you can see that my life is so much easier when it comes to letting go of operations or maybe the editing of the video or the
Yeah,
because you've trusted someone before, they are delivering. Now, if they don't deliver, great, fire them. Hire, slow, fire, fast.
fa-
Don't say,
mm,
maybe we will, okay, you are just delaying. They're going to mess up because your team is as strong as the weakest link, right?
mm,
So you need to be really careful. Even motivated people becomes demotivated because there is this weak
yeah,
link that you're not taking action on. I've experienced that in my team before. I learned the hard way, so I know all about that, right? Because I was still saying, at least he's doing his work well. Maybe just,
mm,
he's a family man, he needs it, and So the person that was now pulling all their weight up is like, hello, like I'm here,
yeah,
ma'am, and you keep letting this guy off, but anyway, story for another day. But that's it. So hire slow, fire fast, or hire for gaps, not growth. Right?
not for girl.
Yeah,
Mm,
gaps that you know that
yeah,
there is a gap for this thing. I'm struggling with my paperwork. When it comes to filing, you are struggling with it. Get someone to help you. Don't kill yourself,
yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, this has been an amazing, amazing, amazing conversation. Like I could talk to you for hours. Thank you so much.
Well,
And I'm gonna say this publicly as well. You have a standing invite. When you want to come back, please, you have to come back because I think there's a lot of need for people who understand business and who can break business down in a way that everybody gets it.
yeah.
Like on the internet nowadays, there's a lot of like very well poised and very well,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
but the way you break it down, it's very relatable. It's amazing, and thank you so much once again for your time. Uh, I will put links to your website, your LinkedIn page, so that people can find you. And I hope that people actually take the next step and, of course, book a session with you and work with you. You know, but all I wanted to say thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super pleased. I can talk about business forever. I talk a lot, as you can
Yeah,
tell, but I'm so happy that you found it useful and valuable. And yeah, I'm here if you need me. It's not.
yeah. and I'm sure our audience is going to find so much value in it as well. So, but
Awesome.
thank you so much, Ola. And I know you took time off from family and everything, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. So there you have it, everyone. We just finished an amazing conversation with business coach and consultant Ola Adeyemi. I would love to hear from you. If there was something she said that got you thinking, you had that BFO moment, she called it. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. So put a comment in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking about. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's your free way to support all that we're doing here at the Many Roads. Well, till next time, God bless.